It's Niecy
and Chad.
and we are back. This is a continuation of our first impressions for Married at First Sight
Season 12.
And we are going to break down our thoughts, first impressions on Brianna and Vincent. And honestly, I cannot figure out if I'm supposed to call the baby Brianna or Brianna. So my apologies. Okay, because you're going to get them both.
I'm from North Carolina. It's Brianna.
Maybe that's how they say it in the country.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not from the country. So anyway, so Brianna, what do we know about Brianna?
So Brianna is an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
She's a bit of a neat freak.
Yeah.
She says that she can be a lot in that I'm not really sure what she means by that. And she says she's got a quirky personality.
Well, she met with a friend, and the friend did say, listen, I've lived with you, and you can be a lot. And I think she just means that, probably I can't relate to it, but maybe she was implying that she can be opinionated. That's the impression that I sort of got. And that, she kind of likes things her way. But I didn't get the impression that she's pushy. She told a little story about if she washes dishes and you come behind her, she might just say, don't you want to wash
Put that in
put that away?
in the dishwasher.
Yeah, so listen, I can completely relate to that. I don't see a problem with that.
So what are the chances that that attitude, or whatever you want to call it, stays just with dishes in the kitchen? I'll bet it's with a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, I think that's what she was trying to say. I think that's what she let us know. But you know what? That's not a bad thing. Because let me tell you something. As a wife and as a mother, a lot of times those roles, whether we consciously do it or not, those roles of keeping the house together, well, I think, most women just kind of feel like it's kind of like their place to keep the house together. Or, for a lot of us, that's a source of pride for us, keeping a nice house. And so I think it's a very domestic instinct that may serve her well going into a marriage. So I don't find that to be a bad thing at all.
Of course, our children are so neat and aware of their surroundings.
Yeah, I don't know whose kids he's talking about, but they're not mine.
The lightning's going to strike me any second.
Right. So Brianna, I've got good first impressions of Brianna. I can't think of any real red flags that came up with her. What about you?
No, she says she's ready to share life and build an empire with a like-minded person.
There was one, I guess it's not a red flag, but there was one thing that I found a bit odd. So the girls had a bachelorette party, and someone posed the question, would you be more concerned if your husband is a virgin or if he doesn't drink? And for some odd reason, well, a reason I find odd, and I'm sure I'm in the minority on this, because, I'm trying to get to heaven. No, but seriously, she was more concerned with whether or not he was a drinker. She felt as if he did not drink, that could be an issue. And that kind of, that's a little weird to me. Now, her reasoning, I believe, was because she doesn't want to feel like she can't drink. But I don't know. What do you think of that?
Well, clearly she wanted someone who knew how to. But anyhow,
I don't know what that means. But
I'll put it in the comments. But drinking is, especially if you ever had an issue with drinking, meaning you had a problem with it, if it became the disease that we call drinking, that those people need to leave it alone. And I don't know that she knows him well enough to know if he might have been in that position yet.
Certainly not.
I'm hoping that she will use that with a grain of salt.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't know why anyone would have a problem with either one of those scenarios.
Right.
Well, we did see in previous seasons, I think it was 10 with Iris, that the virgin thing can be kind of weird. But it's one of those things that can be weird if you let it be weird. And I think the same is true of the alcohol issue. If he's not judgmental about it, then it's really neither here nor there. If he allows you the freedom to be yourself, as long as you can handle it and not sort of go off the rails. But that being said, I just find, I think that it does require a certain level of restraint to say, no, thank you. And you want a man who has some discipline.
Right.
And the other thing is, a lot of people who partake in alcohol on a regular basis, socially or what have you, they sort of, they may have the impression that people cannot loosen up or have a good time without the influence of alcohol.
Right.
And I am here to tell you that is not true.
Not true.
You can have a great time without being under the influence of alcohol or what have you. Not saying you can't drink. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm also saying there's nothing wrong with not drinking.
Right.
And, it almost feels like a, what's the word? Like a double standard, or that's not the word, but you know where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's Brianna.
So let's jump into Vincent. He is an auto broker. I don't know what that is.
So I had to look it up. So because I'm like, what's the difference between an auto broker and
a car
just
salesman?
a car salesman?
Right.
And I guess the difference is that he is almost, it's almost like concierge level type thing. So let's say you were in the market for a specific car. He's going to do all that legwork, and he's going to find exactly what you're looking for, and he's going to get a fee for it.
Okay.
And so he's got connections, and what I like about Vincent is that he has that entrepreneurial spirit. And apparently that's part of the reason why a previous relationship didn't work out, part of what brought him to Married at First Sight, because the ex wasn't quite as comfortable with him going out on a limb like that. So
yeah, he did mention that his previous relationship had failed because she didn't support him in his dream. And you know what? Everybody needs a dream, and you just never know when yours is going to come through.
That's right.
But one thing's for sure is if you don't try, it's not going to happen at all.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he dreams of having a family and being there for his kids in a way his father was not. So if I could talk to the young man, I would say, be careful how you understand that this is your marriage, it's a new thing. Of course, we have to compare to some degree the things that we're about to do to the experience we've had with it before. But be careful how you push those two together, what happened in your parents' marriage and what happens in yours.
Yeah, recognize that you are your own person. You part of that is the influence of your parents and their relationship, but you've also had some unique experiences, and you don't want to get hung up on anything that could be a hindrance to happiness in your marriage.
I guess it all comes down to the two of them knowing each other really well.
At the end of the day, I do think that the two of them have a really good chance.
Yeah,
I think
so
that
right.
they seem like they will do well together. So
Yeah, I
we've
think
got
so.
high hopes for Brianna and Vincent.